Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot. It's your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. First, I would like to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey with me. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And if you happen to be new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things completely differently here on this channel, so with that in mind, if the messages do happen to resonate, it truly does mean the world to me if you're to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box below. Today we are asking, what wisdom do your ancestors have for you? Let's go ahead and hop to your prayer, and we will get your reading underway. All right. Hey, my beloved source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading, whether it's for a moment's time or for the entire time. Ancestors of highest light and love. You know, asking for your wisdom helps us in many, many ways. We can always use guidance. We could always use advice on how to show up in this here, now, here moment. Life is heavy. It's difficult. Sometimes it's a burden. Sometimes it is overwhelming and we're not sure where to go or what to do. And so at this moment in our journey, we're asking that you bring forth the wisdom that will help us take the next steps courageously and bravely as we move. Sometimes we wish that we could give up, but we know that we're also supporting a lineage of past ancestors in our bloodline, those that have gone before us, so that we could live this life and in the way that we are living it, and make the choices that we can make to heal from things that prior ancestors had no knowledge of or had no ability to do so. So sometimes it does feel like a heavy burden to bear, but also it does come with its blessings, and it does come with its many freedoms. And today I ask that you bring forth those words of encouragement and that love that you have for us that is never ending, that helps us step forward boldly and face the challenges that are in our way, obstacles that have become obstacles for generations. May we demolish them in our wake so that future lineage and our future bloodline no longer have to face them, and that we set a new rotation and a new quantum leap in our journey, so that those who come after us will never have to again bear the burden that we ourselves have taken on. As these words are spoken upon this reading and onto this tribe, so shall they be. Amen. Aho, Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved source and my beloved angels and ancestors of highest light and love. All right. So we are going to be using the Ancestor Spirit Oracle cards by Jade Sky. And I'm down to a skeleton crew of cards today, just because, honestly, guys, I'm feeling a little under the weather, but I wanted to make sure that I got you guys your scheduled content. So keeping that in mind as we're going into this reading, it might not be as long as my other readings are normally, but I promise you, it will not lack quality by any means. All right, ancestors of highest light and love, what wisdom do you have for my fellow humans today? Would you like to share with us? What wisdom do you have for my fellow humans, ancestors of highest light and love? Thank you. What wisdom do you have for my fellow humans? Okay. For pile number 1, ancestors of highest light and love, what wisdom do you have for pile number 1? What ancestor spirit oracle card is going to help us better understand the wisdom that you have for pile number 1? Thank you. All right, ancestors of highest light and love. What ancestor spirit oracle card is going to help us better understand the wisdom that you have for pile number 2? Thank you. Ancestors of highest light and love. What ancestor spirit oracle card is going to help us better understand the wisdom that you have for pile number 3? Thank you. All right, collective energy. What do we got? Honor the deities around you, prayers, offerings, and help. And I actually really am so happy that this card came in, because we were just talking about that. You know, we're carrying in the prayer, we were talking about that, carrying this burden from our prior ancestors, trying to clear out generational curses, trying to cleanse the line, and trying to alight a new passion so that future generations no longer have to deal with the traumas that may have compounded all the way into our life, into our journey in and of itself. And with this prayers, offerings, and help, it's that reminder that no matter what, your ancestors are standing by you. And that when you pray to them and when you ask them for guidance, that they are indeed there for you, and they are going to extend that helping hand to you. So let's take a look at this from the book. And some of you, in fact, many of you may have ties to ancient Egypt as well. So it says the ancient Egyptians worshipped a pantheon of deities, all of whom had specific roles to play. Over 2,000 gods and goddesses were thought to be at work, influencing everything from the people, the weather, seasons, the crops, to natural disasters. They were deities to protect the living and others to safeguard the dead in the afterlife. People sought the favor of the gods and goddesses by recognizing, honoring, and worshiping them through ritual, prayer, and offerings. Pleasing the deities meant that they would continue to keep the world in divine order and the people safe. They were called upon for personal reasons, community goals, and were seen as spiritual helpers who lived among the people. Many of these deities are still worshipped by modern-day Egyptians and people from different cultures around the world. It is okay to ask for help from the spiritual world. This card has appeared to you because an angel guide or other spirit helper is assisting you with a question or a problem. Ground, physically protect and shield your energy, then meditate, listen, look, feel, and pay attention to what they are trying to show or say to you. You may feel drawn to learning about or working with a specific god or goddess. Develop your knowledge and relationship with a deity you feel connected to. It doesn't have to be an Egyptian god or goddess. It could be a deity from a completely different culture. You may be surprised at who you feel drawn to. You may like to learn how to prepare a ritual or an offering to honor a specific deity. If you already use ritual or prayer to connect with a deity, this is a sign that they want you to work with them more closely. Make time to reconnect with your chosen god, goddesses, or spirit helpers today. And that includes our ancestors. So again, reaching out and saying, we're here. All you need to do is ask and we'll show up for you. So I love that collectively the ancestors are coming forth and saying, hey, we got your back. No matter what, we've got your back. We're here for you. All you have to do is ask us. Yeah. And underneath that, we have be an open channel, right? Mediumship, ancestors, and the spirits. So be an open channel to receiving that assistance. Super powerful message with the collective energy. All right, so let me get these set up here. And I just rolled the dice in, and it's funny that I got Neptune and then Neptune on the end here. So was not planned. It just happened that way, and I laughed when I set it up. I was like, oh, okay, well, this is what we're going with. All right. So for pile number 1, we do have this red jasper gemstone with the root chakra seed sound on it, and I apologize, but it is evading my memory of what it is right now. I want to say that it's Ram, but I'm not 100% sure of it, but this is the seed sound for the root chakra. We also have this dice with Neptune for you to choose from. And for pile number 2, we have this blue agate obelisk. We have this dice with the north node on it. Alright, and then for pile number 3, we have this piece of yellow jasper for you to choose from. And we have this dice with Neptune on it. Okay, so we have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. And whichever pile you feel drawn to, that should be the pile for you. And with that, I will see you over there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this red jasper gemstone with the root chakra seed sound on it, like I said, it's eluding me right now, but I want to say it's Ram. Or if you were drawn to this dice with Neptune on it. Or if you were drawn to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on the wisdom that your ancestors have for you. First, I would like to say thank you to anybody that continues to be a supportive part of this journey with me. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And if you happen to be new here, welcome. This is a reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. We do things completely differently here on this channel, so with that in mind, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below if the messages happen to resonate. So let's go ahead and hop to it and find out. Ancestors of highest light and love, what wisdom do you have for pile number 1? What wisdom do you have for pile number 1, ancestors of highest light and love? Oh my goodness. Okay, so we've got the 5th house, we've got Aquarius energy, and we've got Mars. So it's interesting because there's a couple of things coming in here. You may be interested or looking for your person, you know, the person that you want to spend your life with. Someone that you're dating, you're wondering, is this going to be the person that's going to be in my life? For many of you, though, I feel like this has to do with your ability to be in a leadership position of some sort. So whether that's management, upper management, CEO, owning a business, whatever it is, it's just like kind of ruling your life, right? Like being able to rule your life and to build something that is not only futuristic, but that is successful as well. Some of you could be scientists, you could study some form of science as well. There's this big energy that's coming in, though. It's like, I want to be able to impact others and to also bring a sense of freedom to them. And the ancestors are saying, if that's what you want, then this is something that you'll be able to create. You have to have faith, though, and know that when you take action, it's like taking aligned action. You might be like, what is aligned action? But it's more about taking intentional actions. So it's like, I intend to show up and give 100% of myself today. Even if I'm not at 100%, I'll give 100% of what I have. even if I'm at, 30% compared to what I was yesterday, or if I'm at 150% compared to what I was yesterday. It's taking that intentional action. And that's what they're saying here. So it's like, whatever you choose, if you're looking for someone, or if you're really trying to tap into that more playful, passionate side of yourself, or if you're trying to stand up and lead the people to a better outcome, it's all about taking that aligned action for yourself. And is this what your heart is truly desiring? And deciphering, is this between your ego, or is this between you and your heart? And sometimes we have to really be honest with ourselves and recognize that, okay, my ego has been wanting this for a long time. And is that going in line with what my heart truly desires? You could have someone that doesn't want to be a leader at all, but that could be the ego being scared and playing small, right? The emotional ego saying like, no, we don't want to be a leader because we've never been good at leading people. But your spirit could be like, no, we were destined to be a leader. And that could be that hiccup that's keeping you in a stagnant place, or making you feel like there's no other opportunity or option for you. And so the ancestors are saying here to let yourself be free and detached from outcomes, but rather just show up and do the work. Just do the thing. That's what I just heard. Just do the thing. Instead of saying, is this going to be the time that I hit it big? Is this going to be the reason I get promoted? Is this going to be, don't ask, is this going to be? Rather look at it and say, this is my best work yet. And focus on that as you move forward. And that's how you step into these roles of becoming the person that you've always dreamt of becoming. What a very powerful energy already to start us with. Okay. All right, ancestors. What wisdom do you have for pile number 1? Feeling like it's this way of looking at it, reframing, right? Your perception. Maybe there's been times when you've impulsively done something, like if they're showing me if you're like a blog writer and you want to write about, I don't know, like situations that are really difficult around the world, like where people are suffering, and you're seeing no one read those, right? Everybody wants to read about, the news, whatever's on the news, right? Like everybody wants to read that. And so maybe you take a step and you say, okay, I'm going to write just about the news, but it's not something that you necessarily believe in, right? You're not doing something for your heart. You're doing something for the views, or you're doing something to get the recognition. So are you doing this to get the recognition? Or are you doing it because it's something you're passionate about? And that's what they're asking right now. Because when you're doing it to get the recognition, you become emotionally exhausted and emotionally disconnected. What wisdom do you have for my fellow humans today, ancestors of highest light and love? Yeah, there's a lot of being really cold energy coming in. There's a lot of being discouraged when it comes to doing this for views, or, like wanting to impact people. It's like, I can change the way I approach this. I can change the way that I talk about this. I can change, but are you changing for your highest good? Or are you changing because you want to impact others? Right? And it's not that it's wrong to change to want to impact others. That's not at all, right? And this can go for anything, whether this is dating someone or in work. It's not wrong to change to impact others, but what happens often is that we'll change ourselves and we'll begin to lose ourselves to that situation or circumstance. That's when it becomes not necessarily wrong, but that's when it becomes a misaligned action. And that's what they're saying today. It's like there's a lot of emotional disregard for what you're desiring and the outcome that you're trying to go towards, and making little shifts and turns thinking that this is going to get you the outcome that you want. You've outgrown this. Yeah, with the 2 of swords on the bottom. This is something that you've outgrown. And the reason why is because this feels dangerous. It feels dangerous to do what you want to do. It feels dangerous to be who you are. It feels scary to let yourself be seen. Because it's like, I've been trying to let myself be seen, but no one seems to be entertained by that, or no one seems to enjoy that, or no one sees me. But is that really the truth, or is there that waiting period? Because oftentimes when we're manifesting, we forget there's a period where it feels like we're taking steps backwards until all of a sudden everything comes rushing in. So is it that waiting period where things are shifting so that what's going on internally is now manifesting externally? But when you're in that state of fear, then that fear becomes what is manifesting externally, right? Chasing the clout. That's what I'm hearing. It's like chasing the clout. And it's not like you're trying to. It's just an old pattern that's coming up here. This is an old belief that's coming up where feeling like, I can't let this go. But with the moon here, we see that this is the subconscious trying to purge itself. You know, I watched this really amazing video the other day that talked about this very same thing where, you know, it's we often get, right before we start manifesting, right before we take a timeline leap, or where we switch timelines, or, you know, however you look at it, where things just start to shift for us. There's like this dial where all of our fears and all of our worries get turned up to 1,000, and they become so overwhelming in our mind. Like, I'm not good enough, I'm a fraud, like all these worries that we have. And what happens when that happens is we immediately think that we're doing something wrong. And so we run from it. We're like, oh no, I can't handle this. But actually, when that happens, that's a good thing, because it's your subconscious is bringing forth all those false beliefs and asking you to consciously look at them and say, is this the truth? Is this my reality? Is this who I am? Rather than letting those thoughts and feelings, right? Thoughts and feelings control who we are. And we see that they've been developed over time for both energies to be in king status here, even though they're in the reversals. They're in the reversals because they're the illusions of. They're the illusions of that are rising to the surface, things that you have outgrown with the Two of Swords here, things that you can move on from, but a fear of moving on from them because of a lack of self-belief, or feeling like this must obviously be true because I believed it for so long, right? And especially the feelings are very cemented around these thoughts. So it's like when the thoughts come up, the feelings are so deep. They come from a core wound somewhere, where one time maybe you tried to impress your parents as a kid, or you tried to impress your caregiver as a kid, and they just brushed you off like it didn't matter, right? Just an example. But that becomes a core wound that we're not good enough, or I'm not even worthy of being paid attention to. So to actually put ourselves out there and be vulnerable, it's a strength that we have to lean into, that is otherwise easier to run away from, and that the emotional ego will continue to convince us that it's better for us to turn tuck tail and run. But it takes that courage of spirit, and that's what your ancestors are saying here. It's taking that courage of spirit to show up and say, this is old, this is outdated. And please don't think that you're alone, pile one. This is very common for everybody to go through, right? You are not alone. This is something that is just it, and they talk about it in the manifestation journey. When you get further, they don't talk about it enough, though. They don't talk about it enough. And I'll never forget when I first started the manifestation journey, there was this one line, and I wish I could remember where I found it at, but I wrote it in an old journal. It says, keep going until you can't even imagine going any further, and keep going until that happens, and keep going until that happens again, and keep going and keep going and keep going. And I remember I wrote it down. It was like 7 lines that I wrote this on, and it was just over and over again. And the metaphor is simple, right? It's like, because how many times have you wanted to throw in the towel, but you didn't? And that's what they're saying. Keep going. Don't throw in the towel yet. It's not that you're not on the right journey. You are. But we're trying to eradicate, or help you eradicate, these old illusions that have been holding on for far too long. So let's see what else comes through for you here. All right, ancestors, what else would you like to say? Yeah, this feels like a new beginning with Aries coming out here. Independence, bravery, and passion. Tapping into that passion. All right, Gemini, curiosity, intellect, and network. This really feels like letting yourself have this new beginning and approaching everything with eyes of curiosity, not with eyes of pessimism, where it's like, or being pessimistic about it, where it's, oh, well, this is reminding me of 10 years ago, or this is reminding me of last year, you know. Don't look at it that way. This is all a brand new situation. But it's like when we try to compare it to something that we've went to in the past, that's when the emotional ego gets a hold on us and says, oh, it's this, this, and this, when it's not. That's not the reality of it. It's like trying to form that close bond with your soul here. The voice. Woo, you are here to be known, so speak and be seen. Wow, what a confirmation to this reading already. Thank you, ancestors. Thank you so much. Look at this being on this card. Like, she's very ethereal. She's very unreal, right? She's got this harp. So there's some sort of melody that you're meant to play in this physical realm. And that could be symbolic. It could be literal as well. It could be music tied. But I just feel like here's the thing. Like, you're meant to be seen as otherworldly because you are otherworldly. You know, you could identify with being a starseed, and that's fine. You know, I'm not here to agree or disagree with that. You know what you resonate with, and holding on to that is what matters. But it's just showing it's like you're meant to be seen, and you're not meant to be included with the masses. Yeah, magic guardian. Unlock the magic within. This has to do with your manifestations. There's something here that's about to switch, right? And it's funny because you picked the root chakra gemstone, the red jasper, which the root chakra is all about grounding, right? And you can connect with the root chakra through the seed sound. Like I said, I believe it's Ram. It's just eluding me right now, but you can chant that over and over again. But when we think about the root chakra, it's like we're grounding our manifestations through the manifestation current from our crown to our root. And then when we're liberating ourselves, we're going from our root to our crown. That's when we're freeing our soul. So finding ways to do both, right? Integrating spiritual practices as well as physical action. And that's how we balance out both sides. That's where the magic comes from. So you're in the process of manifesting something really incredible, but there's something here that's holding you back that the ancestors are saying, like, open yourself up to. We have stag, trust and thrive, right? Trusting in the process here. And also it's interesting because I'm really drawn to both the antlers here with the ram and the stag here. I'm really drawn to the antlers, and it's feeling like tuning into that radio frequency. Again, that confirmation, like I said, it's like when we're in that place where we're about to shift, that's when everything gets turned up to like blast. It's turned up as loud as possible, and it's just attacking us from every sides. But it's not meant as an attack. It's meant for us to face it and to really truly feel into that and ask ourselves, is this real? Is this the truth of who I am? Or is this an illusion I've been believing? So we have snake spirit. Yeah, shed old skin. Letting go of the old to open up to the new. It's exactly what's coming through here. All right, let's get one of these. What else, ancestors? Conjunction. Yeah, stop, collaborate, and listen, right? This is like coming together with your higher self, coming together with your ancestors, coming together with your spiritual team. Stop and collaborate with them. Listen to the guidance that they're giving you. They're trying to get you back to taking that aligned action that you had been taking, to giving you that key and reminding you that you are worthy of what you're asking for. Okay, Uranus, expect miracles. Yeah. Trust in the process. Trust and thrive. Expect miracles. Come back. Stop. Listen. Collaborate with them. They're here to help you. They want to help you. What else, ancestors? All right. On the bottom, we have trust. Whoa. Okay. I accept that my inner voice, right, with voice coming out on the bottom over here too, my inner voice will always guide me correctly. Trust that you're on the right path. You're doing the right thing, right? There's no need to try to manipulate the situation to get clout, is what they're showing me here. But the reason why that's been happening is because you felt the sting of rejection in your life. And it hurts. It hurts to be rejected. Absolutely. No one likes it. But it's a fact of life as well, pile one. And so when we accept that, and we accept that we can't keep everyone and their mom from rejecting us, we know it's going to happen eventually along our journey. And being okay with the fact that it will happen along the journey. But if rejection happens, then that also means that its opposite is equally true, that acceptance does happen as well. Okay? Success. Yeah. Success is yours. Also, we have a lot of orange coming through here, which is the sacral chakra. This is my right to feel. Leaning into that, feeling those emotions and letting go of those emotions. You know, letting go of our emotions, it's not about burying them. That's when they become overwhelming and they take over our lives. Letting go of our emotions is literally feeling into them and reminding ourselves we're safe in this moment. We're not reliving this situation over. We're tapping into the emotional side of myself. I want to know how I felt when this happened, when this happened, when this happened. I want to understand this about myself. Feel into that, validate those emotions and saying it's okay that I felt that way. It's okay that it hurt me and that this is the outcome of my emotional well-being from that. Because it was a stressful situation, because it was a hurtful situation, right? It's not saying like, oh, it's not okay that I wasn't hurt. It's not like when we say that, we tend to just say that our feelings don't matter. We're trying to remind ourselves and our inner child and our inner selves that we want to hear our feelings. We want to know what's going on internally with ourselves. Yeah, look, we've got the key to intimacy, building that bond with yourself. Intimacy, our intimate love is a core need to be met in relation to ourselves and those closest to us. The journey to intimacy often includes learning what love is not and shining a light on that, understanding that. That's how we figure that out. We go through all those times we were rejected, all those times of hardships, all those times of pain. To be intimate with ourselves is to honor what it is that we experienced and saying to ourselves, it's okay, I got your back. Service. I feel good when I can help others. And this is that confirmation I was getting at the beginning, where it's this feeling that you want to come in and help others. You want to change the world. You want to bring this futuristic mindset to the world, right? In the world, but not of it. So let's see what your ancestor card says. I'm going to read this from the book. Back to basics. Simplify, reduce, and center to ground yourself. Now it makes sense as to why the root chakra gemstone was pulled to this pile. All right, back to basics. Let's see what this card says. It says the San are the oldest known inhabitants of South Africa and have lived in the desert regions of the Kalahari for the past 20,000 years. Before modernization, the San people were semi-nomadic. They traveled in small family groups, moving with the seasons, following game migration, and searching for water and edible plants. They lived in temporary shelters, slept in caves and under rock overhangs. The San people survived in harsh conditions due to their knowledge of the local plants, which they used for food and medicine. They also used them to make poison for their hunting arrows. Water is very scarce in the Kalahari, so the San got water from the roots of different plants and by digging in certain areas of sand. As nomads, the San had very few possessions and usually only kept a small number of items that were easy to pack and essential for their survival. Your life has been so busy lately, but it's time to stop rushing. Center yourself and look at simplifying your life. Consider realigning with the basics and connect with the essentials. Do you need all of the material things in your life? Are they fulfilling? Or are they taking up room and using excess energy? Can you downsize, simplify, or donate? Get rid of items you don't need or use? The This card may indicate travel or moving homes as well. The meaning here is to slow down. You do not need to be racing around trying to keep up with the newest trends, products, or what your family and friends have. Remember what is important to you. That's what I was saying at the beginning. It's like, oh, you want to talk about certain situations across the globe where people are maybe starving to death or they're having hardships. And it's like, but that's not what's getting read. It's like, I want to talk about what's on the news, because at least what's on the news is getting views, right? The clout. It's like the clout chaser. That's not important to you though, right? It's like I'm giving up a part of myself so that I can at least get my vision out to people. They're saying don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on a part of yourself just because it's perceived right now that it's not moving forward. This card is a reminder to appreciate the simple things. It may be time to declutter your home, your routine, your lifestyle, or your headspace. Like, it's like convincing yourself that what you want, you don't deserve. And thus, you're starting to act according to that, not deserving it. And so you're pushing it even further away. And that's okay. It's a part of the journey. It's relearning how to remind ourselves that we do deserve it and that we are worthy of whatever it is that you could be asking for. Your ancestors are saying, come back to the basics. What are the simple things that you can do today to show up instead of being attached to the outcome? Rather, focus on showing up in the here and the now and doing your best. Okay, so this is what I see here for you, pile number 1. If you felt like this was your reading, leave the little candle emoji down below and say, I light the path to my soul. I reconnect with myself and I trust the wisdom I gain moving forward. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box. It'll have everything you need. But with that being said, I would like to take this time to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, and a special shout out to the ancestors for coming through with this message today. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this blue agate obelisk, or if you were drawn to this dice with the North Node on it, or if you were perhaps called to this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on what wisdom do your ancestors have for you. First, I would like to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey with me. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And if you happen to be new here, welcome. This is a reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic selves. We do things completely differently around here. So with that being said, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below if the message happens to resonate. So let's go ahead and hop to it. I did get a channel message before we start here, and that's that there's this feeling of being stuck and that your family's been watching over you, seeing you feel stuck and like there's no options to move on. But then I also got this really strong tingling from the back of my head, like where the occiput is, all the way up to where the crown chakra, just below the crown chakra would be, because the crown chakra is outside of our body. And so it's this energy that's coming in where it was like tingling. And they're showing me that you're in the process of awakening to something new right now. And so while this feeling of being stagnant or stuck might be persistent, it's rather than seeing it as being stuck, seeing it as a moment of pause on the journey so that you can reassess the direction that you're going in and making sure that it is the direction that you want to go. Okay, and if it's a yes, that's great. It can be this resounding yes. This is absolutely where I want to go. For others of you, it might not be. It might be like, well, I was actually thinking about maybe pivoting and doing this instead, and that's okay. There is no right or wrong. There's only right or wrong for you and what you feel called to do. But that's what your ancestors were showing me from right before I got onto your reading. So let's find out what else comes through. What wisdom do your ancestors have for you, pile number 2? Ancestors of highest light and love, what wisdom do you have for pile number 2? Okay, so we've got the 3rd house. We've got Leo energy. All right, and we've got Venus. So this... Okay, 2 things here. And I didn't bring out any love cards, but we won't really focus on that too much today. This could be in regards to a labeled relationship as well. This feeling of, like, are they in their ego? Are they in their pride? Am I in my ego? Am I in my pride? I just saw a light spirit come down just outside. I wish that the camera had caught that, but the camera was too far away. It just came down on the outside. It just went like this down through the table. And so that was interesting. Yeah, I feel like right now, this is a part of your higher mission. Okay, so like if you feel like you're on a labeled journey, that's fine. If you don't feel like you're on a labeled journey, that's fine. I just need to mention it because it's coming up, and especially with Venus making an appearance here. I feel like above all of that, this is a part of your life's mission. Whatever it is that you're doing, it's helping you to step into your most empowered self. And that's the route that you want to go. That's where you begin to magnetize everything towards you. You become so attractive. And it's where everything, and I'm not talking about physical attraction. I'm talking about where you attract what you are. And right now, it's like letting go of those emotional egoic thoughts that have been very persistent, but also the vanity and the pride that's tied with that. Okay, especially with the Leo here. You know, Leos are great. I call Leos my brave hearts because Leos live from their heart space. They're very brave in the things that they do. And a lot of times people can see Leos as very vain and egotistical, and that is definitely a part of their shadow. But with that coming through here, it feels like your ancestors are reminding you to let go of the vain energy that has been persistent. And it's not saying that you're vain. It's saying that that's that societal construct, right? Society is vain. And that's something that when we're around that all the time, it's hard not to be affected by that. It's hard not to believe in that. It's hard not to be molded by that. And also that pride that comes from that as well. Like there's something here that has given you a hit in your pride. And they're saying that that's okay, right? Every time we get hit in our pride, it's to humble us a little bit more. It's to remind us that we're attached to things that don't matter for us to be attached to, and that when we are honest with ourselves, especially with the 3rd house here, when we're honest with ourselves and asking ourselves, is this really the biggest thing to me? Is this really the most meaningful thing to me? Is this really the direction that I want to keep going in? Then we can figure out if we're staying loyal to a path that's us staying loyal to ourselves, or are we just being stubborn and staying on a path that we don't want to give up because of its perceived outcome. Excuse me. Wow. And that's what it feels like is coming through here, right? This energy is really, really heavy. And that's why they're saying, and they're showing me the crown chakra was opening as well, because it's a part of us letting the love of spirit guide us rather than what the ego wants, right? Because the ego has led us for so long. And to let go of the ego, it's like we're not trying to completely destroy the ego. We're just trying to soften the ego so that it allows itself to work with spirit. And that's a lot easier said than done. It's definitely a long journey to do that, but that's okay. That's a part of the process. But let's see if we can kind of get a little bit more into this. So ancestors, what message, or I'm sorry, what wisdom do you have for pile number 2? What wisdom do the ancestors of highest light and love have for pile number 2? What wisdom do the ancestors have for pile number 2? Okay, thank you. Yeah, it feels like maybe there's a part of you that has convinced yourself that it's not actually because of the outcome of the situation, but this is actually what you want. But you see yourself longing to do other things, right? It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how we can convince ourselves of the most asinine things and really believe it, right? Really believe it. And again, it's just us asking questions to ourselves and realizing, is this what I want to align with? Again, you're not on the wrong path. That's not what they're saying. This was a part of the journey. Yeah, okay, so this wants to come out in the reverse. It's almost like it's such slow going that how could this be what I'm supposed to do if this is so slow? How could this be the journey that I'm meant to be on if this is so slow? There's definitely an element of the emotional ego coming out here. Yeah, with the house of God. The house of God humbles us. This is the wisdom of the ancestors, or the wisdom of source, or the wisdom of God coming in and knocking the crown off our head, basically saying, like, we can't live this way anymore. And in so doing, our ego and ourselves, we fall out of the tower, and our ego gets washed away through this river, and we have to climb ourselves back up to the tower and look at things from a whole nother perspective. But when this happens, it's not fun. Right? This is not a fun card at all. This is not a fun energy to be in when things start to fall apart. But when we look at it differently and see it as it's falling apart to fall into place, you know, so the stagnancy could be this drawing back so that you can reevaluate, is this the place that I want to be at? Is this the place that I'm going? And is this the energy that I want to put forth in this? Or is there something else that I would rather focus on? But also, for many of you, this is about embracing the slowness of the journey. Everybody wants everything to happen overnight. We all want to be an overnight sensation. Like, it's just something that we believe because we see people be overnight sensations. And we're like, I can do that too. But we never think to ask those people who appear to be overnight sensations, were they truly overnight? Was it truly something that just today they were a normal person, tomorrow they wake up as somebody that's famous, well-known, or rich? And in some cases, maybe, but most of the time, we don't see the amount of work that goes on behind the scenes. So it's just reminding yourself that this is a part of the process, the work, the effort that I have to put forth. Yeah. You have your goal in mind, but it's, again, this energy with the Queen of Coins here. She's giving me this energy. It's something from the past. Maybe when you were a child, you had one thing on your mind, like, I want to do this. I want to be a ballerina, or I want to be a firefighter. And I heard some of you are like, I'm too old for that now. But are you really? Are you really? Or is there something that you want and you would like to do to appease the inner child, which we have with Leo, the inner child, right? That you were set on when you were younger, but then something happened that convinced you along the way that it was no good. Oh no, we can't go down that road. We can't do this. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. There's a whole bunch of excuses as to why. It's not that they're not valid, but are they real or are they illusions? Right? Just because something's valid doesn't mean that it's the reality of the situation. It's valid that we feel the way that we feel, but it could also be that we're feeling a certain way based on an illusion that we perceive. And so that's what this really feels like, is that your ancestors are coming in and saying it's something that is very beneficial to you that you want to do. And so right now the stagnancy is to help you really let go of something that you're holding on to so tightly and coming back to this place of being humbled, right? Yeah, being emotionally disconnected here, this is that emotional immaturity or emotional someone who's not emotionally available, right? Not seeing that. So not realizing that this is actually detaching you further from yourself and making maybe you make impulsive decisions that are making a lot of changes in your life or making you feel like you have to start over. Like, I'm afraid to start over. I don't want to do that. But that's the illusion. You'll never truly start over. You're always beginning again from experience. We're a student of life. But it's hard when you've got that perception that if I begin again and I don't know what I'm doing and I fail, like I'm a terrible person because I fail, but you're not. You're not. And so this does feel like there's just something that's really holding on, and your ancestors are showing you that when you let that go, and this, again, for the ancestors to bring this out on their message, this is something that's been going on for generations in your family, where your parents shouldered this as well. If they had a perceived failure, they felt like they were awful people. And it's like, again, when your grandparents, if they failed, they felt like they were awful people. They didn't want to start over. And so this is that stubbornness of hanging on and pushing through, relentlessly trying to force things to happen rather than stepping into that more receptive energy. Okay, and we have Taurus, Pisces, and Capricorn energy here. And the thing about Taurus and Capricorn, I call Taurus the stability of the zodiac, because they will do everything in their power to bring a stable life in and to live a life of luxury. And then you have Capricorns, who are the workhorses of the zodiac. And it's like they'll put forth everything and anything to make sure that they achieve their goals. Right? So we see that you're a hard worker. They're not discrediting that at all. In fact, they think that that's very admirable, how hard you're working. But are you allowing yourself space to receive? Are you allowing yourself that time to come into alignment so that you can magnetize that manifestation to you right now? You have so much going for you, but right now it's about being honest with yourself. And with the third house coming in, it's about our childhood relations, right? It's childhood relations, the way we think, the way we communicate, the way we reason, and the way we see things in a logical standpoint. So this is something that's been on your mind or burdening you for a long time, since you were a child. This is how you learned how to do things. And it's not necessarily unlearning those, because there are some valuable skills there. It's about unlearning the illusions that drive those feelings or that drive those actions, and coming back into a place of receptivity. Letting yourself do the work, but not get so caught up in that I have to work even harder, because if I don't work hard enough, then I'm not enough, right? That humbling, the vanity and the pride. And that's part of the vanity and the pride. Part of that comes from, like, if I'm not seen as somebody who works 12 hours a day or 14 hours a day and barely ever has time to sleep, then there's something wrong with me. Right? That's not true at all. You're still a human at the end of the day. You still need to rest. You need to eat. You need to sleep. Like, these are things that as a human we need. They're basic needs. That's the thing. And so it feels like you're trying to shove your basic needs away in order to appear, seem, or be seen as productive and constantly on the go. And so right now, Source has slowed everything down in order to bring you into this place to allow you. That makes sense as to why I was getting the tingles in my head, because this talks about knocking us off our crown, right? The crown. It first affects us in the crown chakra, where we get the download. Then it goes down the current to the physical world. So what we're seeing in the physical world appears where things are falling apart, when in reality they're not falling apart. They are helping us redirect on our journey. So you're going through a really hard time right now, pile number 2, or this is something that's just started and your ancestors are supporting you through this. Okay, we have cardinal energy. Instigation, bravery, and a pioneering spirit. Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, and Libra. So you could be a cardinal sign, but this also gives you that energy of a new beginning. And it's not a new beginning that's a roaring flame. It's a new beginning that's just a little spark. It's just this little match. If you don't nurture it and put your hand around it, it could get snuffed out really easily. So this is that relying on that I'm not beginning again. I'm a student of life, so I'll always have a beginner's mindset, because everything I gain is experience on the journey. It doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't make you a terrible person. It just makes you human. That's what we're all here to learn from our lives. No one is perfect. No one is 100% productive. No one is 100% successful right off the bat. In fact, even successful people aren't 100% successful. It's just whatever we see as pristine and perfect oftentimes has flaws that we're not looking for because we're comparing some part of ourselves to it. The strength of vulnerability here. The power lies at the root of a perceived weakness. Yeah. Right. So there's something here that's being perceived as a weakness, and that's not the case at all. So like maybe needing to take a vacation or needing to sleep. That might be seen as a perceived weakness, but it's not. It's a necessity for you to recuperate and to bring in what it is that you want to bring in. We have Guardian Angel. You are not alone. I love that this card came out for you because it's showing you not only are your ancestors here, but your Guardian Angel is here. And anytime you see feathers, also stop and think about what was on my mind when I saw that feather, because that's your Guardian Angel reminding you to keep yourself in that state of positivity and love. Peacekeeper, a harmonious resolution is possible, coming into that peaceful energy, right? To be at peace is oftentimes a challenge because it's like the whole world is full of dramatics and chaos, and they're doing this and they're doing that, and it's like we're trying to keep up with what the world's got going on. But the truth is we don't have to keep up with the world. We just have to do what's right for ourselves. We have solar eclipse. Watch doors of opportunity swing open. Yeah, so you're not being denied. That's exactly what it feels like here. It's like, I feel like I'm being denied, but you're not. You're not being denied at all. There's actually a lot of opportunities that are coming forth for you. We have mutable. Times are changing. It's just not going to happen in the way that you expected it to. And that's what the ancestors are saying here. It's not going to happen the way that you expected. It's not going to happen in the way that you've seen things happen before. It's going to happen in the way that it happens this time. What else, ancestors, would you like to tell pile number 2? Okay, thank you. On the bottom, we have ghost. I don't feel seen is what this is giving me. Or this is also the reminder that something from the past is coming back. What is this trying to teach you? And that's a question that you can ask. And then we have growth peeking out here. Yeah, so there's something from the past that's trying to help you grow, right? The past comes up. If the past keeps coming up and it's irritating you or it's triggering you, it's going to continue to come up. Like there's no, oh, I get away from this. I have to let this go. I get away from it, right? No, it's going to keep coming back until you face it head on. Because it's so much easier to run away from than it is to face on. And so this is saying that there's something here from the past that's coming back for you to evaluate. All right, let's see what else. For pile number 2, ancestors, what wisdom do you have for pile number 2? We have empathy coming out. I'm open to seeing both sides of a situation. So this could have been being hurt really badly by somebody. This could have just been things not going your way. This could have been getting let go. This, again, it's that energy of feeling like something from your past is happening now. And they're saying like when you open up to both sides of the situation, you can see a much bigger picture of it. And that helps us step into an energy of forgiveness as well. Right? Forgiveness is not to say what happened to us was okay. It's saying that I'm ready to let this go and be free. Success. Yeah, I know there is no greater goal than to love. So what is your idea of success, and how can you bring more love into that? Wow, Chiron, hurt and heal. I'm not surprised that this came out because that's that confirmation that this has been a very trying time for you. This has been a very difficult situation. Right? A part of our hurt and heal. This is a part of our wounded selves that's been holding on for maybe many a lifetimes. And if you don't believe in multiple lives, that's fine. It's just something that's happened from the time that we were a child. So again, with ghosts, it's from our past. So it's past energy. And I believe you guys have the North Node for your dice, which is talking about stepping out of our comfort zone. Chiron tends to be in our comfort zone. It's things that we've allowed to persist in our life because we didn't know how to face them or just chose not to. And so that's why with the House of God here on the bottom of the deck, this is a very uncomfortable time, but it's for your higher good. It's for your better alignment. Wow, look at this weeping wound. You are not your wounds. Exactly. There's circumstances, there are things that happened in your life, there are experiences that you've had, but they're not who you are, right? And that's, again, when we talk about that pride, that's our pride being hurt. When we're saying, I am my wound, that's my pride being hurt. Because we know we deserve better, but we're just saying, like, I'm just going to attach my identity to it. And when we attach our identity to it, then we believe the illusions that our emotional ego is showing us. And anytime that something triggers that, but remembering that you are not your wounds, right? You're working to become the wounded warrior, which means that you've healed beyond your wounds and you've become inspired by what was left, and that's turned into fuel for your journey moving forward. Success, again, you got success twice in your reading. So success is coming for you, right? This time right now is about healing from something, and it's about coming back, drawing back to yourself, right? Again, is this the path that you want to take, or is this to help keep you from feeling into those hurts and those pains? Only you can answer that. So let's take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. We have get into nature, coexistence, gather, and limit waste. Interesting. Okay. Get into nature. So it says the sea and land have always provided for the Tlingit people, with the Alaskan forest giving trees for shelters, canoes, and totem poles, and the ocean providing fish and sea mammals for food and clothing. These people survived icy conditions by working in family groups, and this closeness means clan identity, knowledge, rituals, and laws are preserved across generations. The clans are matriarchal and have an eagle or a raven as their sacred animal. In the Tlingit way of life, every creature has a soul, and there is little difference between animals and humans. Respecting and communicating with animal spirits is essential for survival. An animal is killed only when needed. The hunter then gives thanks to the animal. The remains are treated respectfully, and nothing is wasted. To live a happy and balanced life, they listen to the spirits and honor and care for the world around them. It says, go outside and feel the sun on your face or the wind in your hair. Breathe in clean, fresh air. Walk through riverbeds or feel the soft green grass under your feet. Find balance and be one with the natural world, just as the Tlingit people have done for thousands of years. Look at how much time you are spending inside, especially in air conditioning or artificial heating or under fluorescent lights. Your body needs to recharge by having access to natural light or fresh air. Notice how good it feels when you walk outside and experience the world around you. Take a look around at everything nature has provided for you. Your home, your clothing, your food are all gifts from Mother Earth. This card is encouraging you to look at how you can give thanks by limiting waste and sharing resources and knowledge with those who are close to you. Look at the ways you can reduce your demands on yourself and your environment for happier, more balanced life. What a synchronistic card. I love this. Look for ways you can reduce the demands on yourself, right? You've been carrying a very heavy burden, and it's because of this past wound. It's because of this past injury. And sometimes it's just easier to flood ourselves with productivity rather than to face the wounds and the hurt. But they'll continue to recycle themselves in our lives until we face them. And that's what wisdom your ancestors are giving you, is that you are not your wounds, but they can very well become the fuel to your success when you allow yourself the space and time to feel into what has happened, to feel in, to let go. It's much easier said than done, but it is possible, and I know that you can do it. So this is what I see here for you, pile number 2. If you feel like this is your reading, leave the little broken heart emoji down below and say, I choose to no longer identify with my past wounds, knowing that they can become the fuel towards my higher good and my success and freeing me from my past. And if it resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box. With that, I would like to take this time to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, my spirit guides, and a special shout out to the ancestors for coming through for your message today. And until next time, pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of yellow jasper, or if you're drawn to this dice with Neptune on it, or if you happen to be called to this card during the shuffle, this is going to be your reading on what wisdom do your ancestors have for you. First, I would like to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey with me. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And if you happen to be new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And we do things completely differently around here. So that being said, it would mean the world to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below if the messages should happen to resonate. So let's go ahead and hop to it and find out for you, pile 3. What wisdom do your ancestors have for you? What wisdom do your ancestors have for you today, pile 3? What wisdom do your ancestors have for you? Okay, so we've got the 8th house. We've got the sun and Aries energy. I heard keep studying the unknown. That's what I just heard. Keep studying the unknown. There's something here that really interests you. And you've been putting a lot of effort, energy into it. It's something that I feel like you just began, something that you just started. Okay, so this could be maybe you started taking classes on it. Maybe you are just studying about it, you know, like on your own on the internet and finding any kind of resources you can about it. But it does feel like it does have to do with the occult, or, you know, it could be spiritual learning as well, but it does feel like occult, like the unknown, the mysteries in life. Things that not many people understand, but they know exist. So this could also be science in some way, shape, or form, even though we don't have Uranus here. But it does feel like this is something that is, it's like ancient wisdom, or it's just like a massive genre. So there's like so much to learn about it, and there's no way that you could tap into it all, like astrology or divination or the spiritual realm, connecting with spirit, connecting with source, connecting with your angels, your guides, your ancestors. This could be ghost hunting or something along those lines, doing mediumship. But regardless of what it is, it's just this energy to keep doing it, that this is actually making you seem brighter because it's more aligned with your journey. And I feel like it's something that's giving you a lot of vitality, and it's something that's giving you a lot of life and energy. And pardon me, that there's a need for this. Okay, whatever that need is, it might not be apparent right now. Like this might be something that'll come later on, or it might be making itself known later on. But that you pouring into this now is going to gain you what you need in order to move forward in the future. And that's what this feels like. To lead others, to help others, to be that guiding light for others along the journey. Yeah. All right. Let's see what else comes out. All right. What wisdom do the ancestors have for you today, pile 3? What wisdom do the ancestors have for you today? Yeah, it's like building something solid here. What wisdom do the ancestors have for you today, pile 3? It'll help you connect with the right people, like soul tribe, or just opportunities, like people who will pour into you in doing this. It'll also give you an opportunity to help others and to be very grounded in what you do. This could also be the very thing that will bring in financial freedom for you. What wisdom do the ancestors have for you, pile number 3? Okay. What wisdom do the ancestors have for you? Whoa. Okay. There's somebody here who's really childish in your energy. There's somebody here who throws a fit. Like anytime you don't do what they do, what they want you to do or what they expect you to do, like this is somebody who gets really ruthless towards you. They're very cold towards you. Their actions are very childish. Like this could be someone who literally throws temper tantrums like a 2-year-old, you know, breaking things, slamming things, stomping, yelling, screaming. This is somebody who has a problem with the fact that you are going to be seen by the world, that you're going to step out and be seen. They know your potential. And so now it makes sense as to why the ancestors are bringing this up in the dice, because this, you pouring into this, whatever it is that you're doing, is actually going to help you to move away from this energy. That this, you know, it could be a partner, this could be a child, this could be family, it could be a friend, it could be coworkers, you know, but there's somebody here, they're saying you're going to know who it is right away. There's somebody here who's incredibly childish. Like they just are, they really like the terrible twos stage, you know, like when kids go through the terrible twos, like that's how they act. Sometimes that's just very overwhelming and frustrating as well, as what I'm hearing. It's interesting they want me to talk about it. This person's really manipulative, and Source and your ancestors are trying to help you to move away from this. But the only way to do that is for you to pour into the things that you like to do, right? This person is very much, they'll drain your energy very, very quickly, and they'll expect a lot from you. Yeah, and they've left you in a state of feeling like you could have felt really lethargic lately or very sick as well, like very just down in the dumps, like, oh, okay, I understand why the vitality thing was so important, full of life and energy, right? Like this person's draining you. They're doing their best to drain you, because when you're in a low vibration, they feel very smug about it. They're like, haha, I made pile number 3 go into a low vibration. And you know, it's like they're just really, that's the type of energy they're at. This is somebody who just can't see someone do better than them. But the truth is that most people are doing better than they are, because this person's stuck in an old way of being. But I feel like this person or these types of people have gotten the best results by acting the way that they have. They've been able to control people through their actions. And there's like a give or take situation here. Not that they're give and take. What I'm saying, it feels like you're doing a give and take situation where sometimes you give your energy and sometimes you take your energy away. And right now your ancestors... Excuse me. Wow, that came out so fast. I wasn't even expecting it. Okay. So yeah, right now your ancestors are saying to take your energy away and pouring it into this thing that you're learning about, or this thing that you're studying, or this thing that you're experiencing, away from this person. Okay, they could be a Scorpio, they could be a Leo, they could be an Aries, they could be a Sagittarius, they could be a Capricorn. Yeah. Self-sabotage. Interesting. Right? We're trying to inspire you, but instead it's like you might not realize that you're sabotaging yourself, because there's some sort of title or there's some sort of position or role that this person plays in your life. And it's easy for you to give to them because of guilt or obligation or feeling like you owe them or feeling like, you know, well, they've done so much for me or they've just been in my life for a really long time. And what I keep hearing is time does not equate to loyalty. This person has no loyalties except to their own malicious agenda. They don't want anybody to do better than them. Like you could even see this person, like if there's other people who have a nicer car or if they have a nicer job or if they have a nicer home, like you may have even seen this person lash out at them in various different ways. And it's because this person, they're just very small-minded. They're very small-minded. They're very closed off to the ability to grow. And yeah, so Source is asking you to step up, and your angels and even your ancestors are here asking you to step up into this Queen of Swords energy, defending yourself. But defending yourself is not necessarily engaging in a word-to-word combat with this person, because this person is like, I keep hearing, you can't argue with crazy, right? Like you can't argue with stupid. And I'm not calling this person stupid. I'm not calling them crazy. What I'm saying is that that's the type of energy they show up in. Okay, that's the type of energy. They're just going to start getting you to run around in circles with arguments. They're going to start like, oh, well, this or all this or all that, all that. And you're just going to be like, we just talked about that. And they're going to make it the biggest deal ever. And that's what Source is saying. It's like, this is protecting yourself. And it's interesting. I keep saying Source, even though this is an ancestor message, because it feels like Source overtook the ancestors here. It's like your ancestors have tried to give you guidance on this. They've tried to help you see the truth of this person, which you're aware of. But there's still that obligation. This feels like an obligation that you're holding on to. And that's the self-sabotage coming in, that you owe this person something. At the end of the day, if you were to really strip it back, what would they owe you, Pile 3? And I heard someone say nothing, and I don't feel like that's correct. I don't feel like that's correct, because I feel like you're a very loving, kind, compassionate person. You're a very honest person. So if you've given this person honesty, if you've given this person love, if you've given this person respect at some point in time, then isn't it safe to say that you're also owed those things? So if they can't give you those things, then why do they deserve your energy? And obligation has nothing to do with it at this point. It's just something to consider. Right? If you're going to give, and this person's going to take, and take, we're already in deficit. And that's what your angels and your ancestors and Source are saying. And your angels, I guess you're having a guardian angel here that's like really trying to step in. I heard Susan. I don't know if that means anything to anybody, but I heard it came in so loud. Susan and Greg. Those are the names that came in right now. I know, so generic, but sometimes our guardian angels are very generic. They have a very generic name. It could be that's the person that you're dealing with as well, or that could be a name that means something to you. Roderick came in too. Whoa. Talia. Constantine. Constance. I heard a curator. I just heard that really loud. A curator. Okay, so we're gonna... Okay, because if we get stuck trying to name things, like, we're gonna just go forever, guys. I appreciate it, but if we get stuck naming things, that's just gonna be a never-ending video. But with this energy of the Queen of Swords, this is what they want. Like, just setting a boundary between you and them. And the boundary can very well be pouring all your time and energy into this, what you're learning, into what matters to you, into, you know, the things that bring you solace and happiness and even a reprieve from this person. It could be multiple people, but it really feels like one person who's very overbearing, who is very childish, who's very manipulative, who's just outrageous. This is a very outrageous energy. And then they make you question yourself, and then you sabotage yourself, and you're like, oh, I can't do this, or I can't do that, or it's not worth my time, or it's like, what if I fail? Like, there's all these doubts that come up. But that's why they're mentioning with the dice here that it's important for you to do the things that you love, because that's where your vitality lies. This person's, they're going to drain you dry. And you don't deserve that. You do not deserve that. Wow. Like, I already feel it. It's really heavy energy. Taurus energy coming in. Trust, patience, and sensuality. Yeah. Trusting the journey is also coming in with this Taurus energy, right? Trusting the journey and trusting that this person was not punishment. They're not punishment for you, okay? Like, you didn't do anything terrible. And I feel like you blame yourself for so much, or you shoulder blame for things that aren't even yours to shoulder blame for. And that's okay, because so many people do that. But asking yourself, is this mine to carry? That can be very beneficial for you, pile number 3. And also reminding yourself that, like, if it's not mine, I'm just going to take it off. I'm going to put the anchor down. I'm not going to carry this, right? How this person shows up, that's not your burden. Who this person is, that's not your burden, right? They have their own life to live. And if that's how they're choosing how to show up, then sometimes we just have to let them. We have to let them be their own worst enemy. We have to let them be their own self-destruction, because otherwise we're becoming our own worst enemy trying to save them from themselves. Some people don't want to be saved. And I feel like that's what your ancestors are saying here. Like, this person doesn't want to be saved. Don't try to save them, because it's just a lost cause. It's not that you're not capable of helping others. It's not that you're not capable of healing others. But you will only ever be capable of helping and healing others that want to reach out and do the work themselves. You can't do that for them. We have Aquarius energy, originality, philanthropy, and progressive imaginings. So this goes back to what I was saying, like, maybe there's something scientifically that you're really trying to pour into, or, you know, something that's definitely unique. There's something that's unique to you that you really enjoy doing, but I feel like maybe you've drawn away from doing it because of dealing with this person, or this person's energy is always around, or it's just heavy, you're too tired. But if you're too tired when you come home, if you can make a promise to yourself to show up for 10 minutes, just set a timer for 10 minutes. Just say, I know I'm tired, but I need to do this one thing to pour back into my cup. And you might realize the timer might come and go, and you might turn it off and say, you know what, I have enough energy for another 10 minutes. And before you know it, 2 hours has passed and you feel great, right? But dedicating that, it's like, I remember this, you know, this thing that I saw, I think it was by Charlie Follows. She's a yoga instructor that I watch every once in a while. I absolutely love her. She's an amazing instructor. But people have asked her many, many times, you know, how did you do yoga every day? And I'll never forget this. And this is something that I've applied to many parts of my life. It's 10 minutes non-negotiable. 10 minutes non-negotiable every day. So if you want to do yoga, right? Making 10 minutes of yoga non-negotiable. I have to show up for 10 minutes of yoga. Even if it's before bed, if it's first thing in the morning, if it's the middle of the day, I set out 10 minutes to do this thing. And so the same thing can be applied to whatever it is that you're doing here, setting aside and saying 10 minutes non-negotiable before bed, or when I first wake up in the morning, I'm setting aside 10 minutes to dedicate to this thing that I'm doing. Radical self-acceptance. Exactly. There's a lot of self-blame here, and coming into this place of self-acceptance, right? You are perceived the way you perceive yourself. So another reason why this person attacks you in the way that they attack you is because of these perceptions that you hold of yourself. It's like, you know, I think the easiest way to describe it, because we've learned a lot about narcissists in recent years, is that, like, narcissists and empaths, right? Empaths are so loving and giving, and narcissists are takers. And that's the thing. It's like, so they feel the need of the empath. The empath needs to give. And then the empath feels the need of the narcissist. The narcissist needs to take. It's the balancing of the scales until the empath decides to empower themselves and recognize that they're not obligated to just give willy-nilly. So it's that same type of energy, right? But sometimes it's hard. It's hard for us to step out of that energy because we've been so used to accepting or allowing certain energies to play out in our lives. And it's uncomfortable to move away from that. But even though it's uncomfortable, it is rewarding. Warrior, be fearless and stand strong. Yeah, I feel like that's what they're saying here. Your ancestors are reminding you of how strong you are. But we can tell you until we're blue in the face. If you don't believe it yourself, there's not much more that we can do. You have to begin to believe it yourself. How do you do that? By doing the things that you love, by convincing yourself that you are worthy. And how do we convince ourselves that we are worthy? It's our birthright to be worthy of the things we desire in life. So affirmations, meditation, stopping letting people walk all over you, standing up for yourself. Again, I feel like this is standing up for yourself, but standing up for your time. That's what it feels like right now. It's not even standing up for yourself in a verbal way. This feels like standing up for your time. And sometimes that will be verbal. Like, I don't have time for this right now. I really have to focus on something else. Uranus, expect miracles. Good things are meant to happen for you, pile 3. They are. You're meant to have good things in your life. And trusting when you pour into yourself that source is going to always come in and meet you halfway no matter what. Like, source isn't just leaving you out to dry. Your ancestors aren't leaving you out to dry. That's not at all what's happening. It's like they'll never interfere with our free will. We have free will, so it's a choice. If we choose to let things continue instead of standing up for ourselves, that's our choice, right? So that's our free will. They're not going to come in and just change it for us. That's not how that works. We have to show them that we want to change, and then they'll work on our behalf for things to align for us. Rest, and you need some rest right now for sure. This is a difficult situation. This is something you're going to be recovering from, right? Because it's like you've taken on so much of this person's energy. You've taken on so much of this person's this heaviness that they have. Like, failure came out. Wasn't I saying that? Like, feeling like a failure here. Self-blame. I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. You may have also come from one of the other piles, because that was a message in another pile as well. And I just briefly want to say, if you watched all 3 piles with me, I want to say thank you so much. And that makes you a part of my Purple Heart Club. So just leave a purple heart down below. Or say I made it. I know what that means. And if you're just here for pile 3, you matter just as much to me. And I want to say thank you for spending this time with me. But yeah, there's this perceived failure here. Like, if I let go, I'm failing. I'm failing this person, or I'm failing the obligation, or I'm failing the role that they have. And that's not true at all. Self-esteem. Exactly. Building up your self-esteem is important right now. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. So that's something that they want you to pour into. What is it that you're learning? Because that's helping you build your self-esteem. This person is tearing you down time and time again. Coming back to yourself and building yourself up is the most important thing right now. Wishful expectations. Acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. Wow. You're bending over backwards for this person, and they're not doing anything for you. Why do you owe them? Why? If you're the only one that's putting in an effort, why do you owe them? Why? Honestly, I don't feel like there will ever be a reason that's deep enough that can justify this one-sided energy. You deserve something more. And the thing is that if you always feel obligated to this person, it's going to be very difficult to expect better things to come into your life, because you're always going to settle for their energy. So having somebody come in and rescue is out of the question. No one's coming to save you. You have to save yourself, pile 3. Take time to reflect with the Mirror Guardian. Yeah. Reflecting on the situation, seeing it for what it truly is. It's okay. And it's okay if what you're seeing isn't positive and unicorn farts and bubbly butterflies. It's okay. It's okay. Life is not always like that. In fact, to be positive 100% of the time is unrealistic. It doesn't mean that behind the scenes that love and light isn't driving all of this. What it means is that sometimes we have to be real about what we're experiencing in the 3D without putting on rose-colored glasses. If you were your own best friend, if you were seeing this play out to your best friend, what advice would you give to them? If you saw this playing out to someone you loved, like your husband, your wife, your spouse, your daughter, your son, your mom, your dad, your best friend, whoever it is. If this situation that you're going through was happening to someone you cared about with all your heart, what would you say to them? And then how can you follow that same advice? Find your balance. Yeah. The scales are tipped, and they're not tipped in your favor, because right now you're putting everything you have in one side of the scale for this person. But you have good luck coming to you. Let the blessings unfold. You're meant to experience benefic energy in your life, positive energy, supportive relationships, people who see you. But first you have to choose to stop bending over backwards for someone who doesn't care. And I'm sorry they don't care. Because for you to give so much and someone not to see it, it's heartbreaking. And you don't deserve that. Illumination. This is your time to be awake, to see it for what it is, to reflect. And remember that you are protected. It's okay to let go of something that you thought you would never let go of. That doesn't make you a bad person. All right, we're going to take a look at this card. I'm going to read this from the book. Wow. Take time out. Siesta. Recharge and rest. So we got rest on the bottom. Time to reflect. Okay. So again, there's this energy of really taking space and time to understand yourself right now, because I feel like you've been giving too much energy away, maybe to too many people, but it really, really to this one person. Okay, take. The ancient Romans are known for conquering lands and having large, strong armies, but they were not just soldiers. They were amazing architects and engineers too. They built roads, walls, bathhouses, and aqueducts. Wealthy Romans enjoyed a variety of luxurious foods and wines, which they imported from all around the empire. The early Romans divided their day into 12-hour periods, depending on what the light was like and the time of year. They could accurately measure sunrise, midday, and sunset with sundials. The length of the shadow on the sundial helped them estimate the time of day. In the 6th hour on the sundial, wealthy Romans would stop what they were doing, go home to eat, a leisurely lunch, and have a siesta, or a rest or sleep, which comes from the Latin hora sexta, meaning the 6th hour. The important thing about the siesta was that it allowed the Romans to rest physically, mentally, and spiritually before they tackled the remainder of their day. This is a reminder that you need to nurture yourself. Even if you can't have a siesta, stop and recharge throughout the day. Make 10 minutes non-negotiable. Have a cup of coffee or tea. Go for a walk on your lunch break. Take some time out to nurture yourself, rest, and to look after your physical body. It is essential to do this before you become too tired or disconnected from your spirit or energy. Practice setting firm boundaries so you have time to nurture yourself. Do not let other people's drama or energy interfere with your self-care. It is important to look after your energy, so don't feel guilty about making rest and reflection a part of your routine. Visualize a safe place and see yourself making a cocoon around yourself. Go to this place whenever you need to recharge. Okay, so your ancestors are telling you the wisdom right now that will benefit you the most is to recharge, to rest, to reconnect through silence and stillness. And that will help you take the next steps that you need to on this journey. Okay, so this is what I see here for you, pile number 3. If you feel like this is your reading, leave the little smiley face emoji with the Z's, the sleeping one, and say, I choose to make space for myself and 10 minutes, non-negotiable, of rest and reconnection each and every day. And if it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you're interested in supporting the channel further, check out the description box below. It has everything you need. With that, I would like to take this moment to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides, as well as a special shout out to the ancestors for coming in to give us this message today. Remember that you are so worthy. Pile number 3. Here's a big, big, big energetic hug for you. You are so loved and supported, and I see you, okay? You're not alone. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and leave this here and get on out of here. But until next time, stay human. Bye.